The neighbor my name's Jack. I'm 31, an auto mechanic, brakes, oil changes, check engine lights, nothing glamorous. Been at it since I was 20. Used to live closer to the city, but after my divorce last year, I needed a clean break. So I bought a small house in a quiet suburban neighborhood a couple hours out. It's not much, just a roof and four walls, but it's mine. I wasn't looking for friends, definitely not love. I just wanted peace, a place to sleep where the walls didn't feel like they were closing in. The neighborhood was fine. Older folks, young families, nobody too nosy. They didn't wave, but they didn't glare either. That was enough that a few days after moving in, I saw her. Brown hair in a messy bun, white t-shirt, jeans, pushing a grocery cart up her driveway next door. 3 bags, heavy ones, and she looked worn, not lazy, just like someone carrying too much alone. I didn't want to seem creepy, but it felt wrong to just watch. So I walked over. Need a hand? She looked up, surprised but not unfriendly. Sure, that'd be great. That's how I met Emily. We carried the bags inside. Her house was clean, quiet, too quiet. No other cars in the driveway, just hers. She mentioned her son, Lucas, was at school, and she worked from home as a freelance editor. I didn't pry. Handed her the last bag, wiped my hands on my jeans. If you need anything, I'm next door. She tilted her head, gave a half smile. Then she said it. You know, I could use a husband. It was casual, tossed out like a joke, but her face didn't laugh. Her eyes held mine, steady, like the words slipped out before she could catch them. I froze, chuckled awkwardly. I'll keep that in mind. She smiled, softer now. I'm kidding, but her eyes didn't quite agree. Back in my kitchen, the moment stuck. Her voice, that look replaying like a song I couldn't shake. Was a joke. I didn't know her last name, didn't know her story, but something about her felt like it was already mine to carry. I wasn't looking for this, not after everything. But that night, I couldn't sleep. Her eyes were there every time I closed mine. The next few days, I kept busy in the garage, tightening bolts that didn't need it, glancing at her house like a teenager with a crush. She didn't appear. Then one morning, she was out watering her lawn. Same white t-shirt, denim shorts, sunglasses. She waved. I waved back. That was it. Slowly, we started trading small talk over the fence. Weather, the neighborhood's eerie quiet. Her dry humor hit me sideways, making me think twice after she'd already walked away point one afternoon. She caught me working on my '92 Silverado. You ever fix that thing? Or is it just therapy? I grinned. Little of both. She leaned against the fence, hands in her hoodie pockets. I've got a leaky kitchen faucet. Just saying. Just saying I could take a look. Be my guest, she said, turning back to her house. But if it explodes, I'm blaming you. Under her sink, I found a rusted connector untouched for years. She stood nearby, arms crossed, smirking. Most guys would have charged me for this. I shrugged, wiping my hands. Most guys aren't trying to be good neighbors. A flicker in her eyes, amusement, maybe more. Keep this up, you'll have a fan club. As I packed my tools, she said, Want some pie? Made too much yesterday. I hesitated. She noticed. It's not poison. I'm more worried I won't stop at one slice. She smiled. Then don't. We sat on her back porch with apple pie and coffee in mismatched mugs. Her son Lucas came out, skinny, shy, serious. This is Jack, Emily said. He made our faucet stop screaming. Lucas nodded once, then vanished inside with his tablet. He doesn't talk much, she said softly. Not since, I didn't ask. Takes time. Over the next few weeks, we built something unspoken. She'd leave leftovers on my doorstep. I'd mow her lawn when I did mine. We'd talk over the fence. Small things, but they felt big. One evening, I was on my front steps with a beer when her screen door creaked. She sat on her steps, 10 yards away, the fence between us. Crickets hummed. Cars passed in the distance. Silence stretched, comfortable. Then she spoke. You don't seem like most men I've met. Good or bad? Still deciding. She smirked, pulling her knees to her chest. Quiet. Most men talk too much when they've got nothing to say. We sat there. No need for more words. It wasn't awkward. It was home, but a few days later, I saw Lucas on their porch, fiddling with a broken RC car. Can I take a look? He handed it over without a word. 5 minutes, new batteries, reset motor. Thanks, he mumbled, eyes down. Emily watched from the doorway, mouthing, thank you. I nodded. That night in my garage, I realized I wasn't drifting anymore. These moments, fences, RC cars, were anchoring me. I wasn't in love, not yet, but I was falling into something. Thanksgiving hit fast. The neighborhood buzzed with lights and decorations. I figured Emily had plans, maybe family. That morning, her car pulled out at 7 a.m., Lucas in the passenger seat. She didn't wave. I spent the day alone, frozen meal, football I didn't care about, house too empty. By 8 p.m., her car was back, but her porch light was off, curtains drawn. The next day, she was dragging her trash bin to the curb, hoodie up, face pale, eyes red. You walked over. You okay? I'm fine, she said, voice cracking. Coffee? We sat at her kitchen table, too clean, like she'd scrubbed it to keep her hands busy. Lucas was at a friend's. She gripped her mug. I don't usually talk about this. Yesterday was the anniversary. My husband, Jason, died 3 years ago. Heart attack. 37. No warning. 1 minute we're folding laundry, the next he's gone. I stayed quiet, just nodded. We go to the cemetery every year, she said, eyes on her coffee. Light candles, sit in the car, stay quiet. I held space for her silence. Then she looked up, raw. I didn't think I could feel anything for anyone again. Not real things. And now I'm scared because I think I'm starting to. I swallowed hard. Could have joked, could have deflected, but I didn't. I reached across the table, laid my hand over hers. No squeeze, just there. She let it stay. I wasn't trying to fall for anyone, she whispered. Me neither. We sat for an hour, barely speaking, just the fridge humming and floorboards creaking. It was the most intimate night of my life, and we didn't even kiss. When I got home, I sat in the dark, staring at the ceiling. Something had shifted. Emily wasn't just someone I liked. She was someone I needed to protect, not from danger, but from the weight she carried alone. And maybe she felt the same. The week after was cold, the kind that makes your bones ache. I buried myself in work, avoiding the ache in my chest. Emily texted Monday, "Thanks for listening." That's all I needed. I replied, "Anytime." That was it. Friday, an old friend, Ryan, called from Denver. His shop was expanding. Lead mechanic, salary, benefits, real tools. It's a step up, Jack. You've earned it. I said I'd think about it. For 2 days I did. I had no roots here, no family, no kids, just a mortgage. And Emily, Sunday, I was split it out back when she appeared. You thinking about moving? I turned. She stood there, arms crossed, hoodie loose. Where'd you hear that? Joanne, 2 doors down. Her son, Knows someone at your garage. I leaned on the axe. It's just a call. Nothing decided. But you're considering it. I nodded. Better pay, better hours. A chance to build something. She exhaled sharply. I see. Emily, it's not. I joked about needing a husband, she cut in, voice flat. But I didn't joke about needing you. It hit like a punch. She wasn't crying, just bare, demanding truth. You're the first person who's made this place feel like home, she said, softer. And I'm terrified you'll disappear before I can figure out what this is. I'm not going anywhere, I said, no hesitation. She looked at me, relief flickering in her eyes. That night, she came to my place, no knock, just stepped inside like she belonged. Sweater, leggings, no makeup herself. She sat on my couch, hands in her lap. You didn't kiss me that night. I told you about Jason. Didn't feel right. And tonight, I moved closer, slow, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. Our first kiss was gentle, hesitant, like learning to speak a new language. Not wild, not cinematic, just real. Afterward, she rested her head on my shoulder, my arm around her. We didn't watch the TV. She didn't stay the night. It wasn't about lust. It was trust. The next morning, I called Ryan. I'm not taking the job. You sure? Yeah. Found something more important here. He laughed. You found a woman, didn't you? Something like that. Emily brought breakfast, eggs, toast, orange juice in a thermos. Lucas carried strawberries. You staying? He asked quietly. Yeah, bud. I am staying. He handed me the container, nodded like it was a deal sealed that we didn't label it, didn't need to. Something had shifted, permanent. By spring, we had a rhythm. I'd drink coffee on my steps at sunrise. Some mornings, Emily joined me, robe tight, hair messy, sitting in silence until Lucas woke. Other times, she'd wave from her kitchen window, half smiling over breakfast prep. Her toothbrush appeared in my bathroom, her tea in my cabinet, Lucas's socks by my laundry. One July morning, she said, casual as ever. Mind if we stay here tonight? All of us. That was the first night they slept under my roof. They never left. Lucas and I found our own way. I wasn't replacing anyone, just there. Picked him up from school when Emily worked late, took him to the garage some Saturdays. We built a toolbox, wood, screws, paint. He wrote his name on it, crooked black letters, and said it was official. In September, he asked if he could call me Jack, but maybe sometimes Dad. I couldn't speak for a second. I'd be honored, I said. Emily cried in the kitchen, hiding behind a dish towel, fooling no one to be why the holidays, we'd settled into a quiet peace I never thought I'd know. No drama, just us. On the anniversary of that first day, the husband line, we sat on my porch. Emily's feet were on the railing, mug in hand. Lucas was inside, building a Lego monstrosity. The air was cool still. Still think it was a joke? She asked, almost a whisper. I looked at her. Same sharp eyes, softer now, time smoothing the edges. No, not for a second. She smiled into her mug. It felt like a joke when I said it, but part of me meant it. I know. We didn't rush to marriage, but we talked about it. A small thing, just us, Lucas, maybe your sister and my brother, in the park where Lucas learned to ride his bike. No pity. We'd already built the hard parts. Trust, honesty, patience. The rest was just details. People think love is fireworks, all chaos and passion. But I've learned it's quieter. It's a hand on your back when you're tired, a note on the counter saying, lunch is in the fridge. A kid calling you dad when he doesn't have to. A neighbor who says something ridiculous and looks at you like she means every word. That joke wasn't a joke. It was the start of my life.